You close your eyes, and the world outside begins to fade. Your breathing softens, steady like a tide pulling in and out. In this stillness, you imagine yourself shrinking inward, as if carried along a gentle current into the smallest places of your body. Every cell, every thread of you is quietly alive, whispering with the same language that has guided life for billions of years. This language does not speak with sound, nor with letters etched on paper, but with patterns written inside you for letters, endlessly repeating, endlessly telling your story. Inside the hushed chambers of your cells, coiled delicately, lies the script of life. DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid. Though the name sounds cold and scientific, you may think of it as an ancient poem. A poem older than mountains, older than oceans, older even than the stars we see tonight. Each line of this poem is written with just 4 letters, A, T, C, and G, simple at first glance. Yet together they compose every tree, every bird, every breath of wind that carries pollen, every smile passed between 2 people under the moonlight. Your body is a library of these letters, copied and folded into every cell. Imagine walking into this library. It has no walls, no doors, only endless shelves that glow faintly, each shelf stacked with scrolls of light. When you reach out and unroll one, the symbols inside are not words you recognize, but the pulse of life itself. 4 letters, paired and aligned, repeating in quiet music. A for adenine, T for thymine, C for cytosine, G for guanine. Yet to you, they need no names tonight. They are simply shapes of energy, glowing softly, forming the alphabet of existence. Pause for a moment and breathe. Think of your heartbeat. It rises and falls without asking your permission, each beat guided by instructions written long ago. The color of your eyes, the sound of your laughter, the curve of your hands, all shaped by the sequences of those 4 tiny letters. When you trace your family line back through time, across centuries and millennia, you discover that this same alphabet has been passed down, uninterrupted, like a flame protected from wind and rain. Your body is both a continuation and a beginning, a verse in a much longer song. Now picture this alphabet as music. For notes only, yet infinite symphonies emerge. A and T always play together, like 2 voices that find harmony across distance. C and G, too, pair with unwavering loyalty. Together they create patterns, chords, rhythms that build every living form. The notes are repeated, varied, rearranged, until complexity arises from simplicity. The gentle curve of a seashell, the delicate pattern of a leaf, the structure of your own mind all arise from these letters singing quietly within. You feel yourself drifting deeper. With each breath, you walk farther into the library, past shelves upon shelves of this living code. It feels safe here, timeless. The letters do not rush. They do not shout. They wait patiently, folded in spirals, until called upon. And when they are read, it is as if the script unrolls into reality. Proteins built, cells shaped, tissues formed. The library becomes the body, and the body becomes the reader of its own script. The most astonishing thought comes softly now. The same alphabet lives not only in you, but in every creature that shares this earth. The sparrow outside your window, the oak tree swaying in the night wind, the salmon that leaps against the river's current, the moss clinging to ancient stones, all speak this language. The letters may be arranged differently, like poems written in different dialects, but the alphabet is the same. This is the quiet bond of all life. connecting you to a world that is both vast and intimate. Let your thoughts wander to the beginning. Long before humans walked the earth, before dinosaurs thundered across valleys, before forests rose green and tall, these letters were already at work. In shallow seas, warmed by a young sun, they found each other and began to bind. A 2T, C2G, like dancers discovering their partners. They twined together and spun a double helix, spiraling in a rhythm that would never cease. That dance continues inside you now, silently, faithfully, like a music box that has never wound down as you float in this vision. The letters seem less like rigid symbols and more like threads of light. They weave, they fold, they spiral. They form bridges across time, across species, across all that has ever lived. To think of them is to realize that life itself is not random chaos, but a patient weaving, a careful composition with only 4 strands of thread. 4, yet infinite in possibility. Your body is composed of trillions of cells, and in nearly every one, this code rests. Think of that, the same story, copied again and again, a chorus of identical scripts humming in unison. And yet, within this sameness lies difference. Some parts of the code are silent, never read, like verses that remain unopened. Others are spoken daily, guiding the rhythms of your breath, your pulse, your sleep. Together they make you, uniquely you, though the alphabet itself is shared by all. Sleep begins to brush against your thoughts. The idea of 4 letters, repeating endlessly, becomes almost like a lullaby. Simple, cyclical, unending. You imagine yourself as a book written entirely in these letters, but the meaning of that book is not fixed. It is alive, breathing, unfolding with each moment. And though you may not consciously read the script, your body knows it intimately, carrying its wisdom in every heartbeat. As your awareness drifts, a final thought lingers. If all life is written in this alphabet, then to study it is to read the greatest story ever told. The story of connection, resilience, and change. A story that does not end on the last page. Because new pages are being written each day, in every child born, every leaf unfurling, every creature rising from sleep. Tonight, you rest within this story. You are a verse, a stanza, part of the poem of life. And tomorrow, you will continue its telling, even in the quietest ways. You drift inward again, carried by the rhythm of your own breath. The world around you dissolves into a gentle haze, and within this quiet, you begin to see not the vastness of stars, but the depth of what lies inside you. You step softly into the smallest universe you know, the universe of your own cells. Each cell is a chamber, a tiny sanctuary, holding within it the script of your being. These cells are countless trillions, and yet each one is a world unto itself. Imagine standing before one, magnified until it is as large as a cathedral. Its walls shimmer with living membranes, delicate yet strong, like silk stretched into form. You pass through, and what greets you is not emptiness, but intricate order, a hall of flowing liquid, organelles drifting like lanterns in a calm tide, each with a purpose, each quietly alive. At the heart of this chamber lies the nucleus, the keeper of secrets, the vault of memory. It is as though every cell carries within it a glowing orb, a treasure chest, a lantern protecting the most delicate scroll of all. Within that nucleus rests the thread, DNA coiled, folded, hidden with care. This thread is unimaginably thin, yet unimaginably long. If you were to take the thread from a single cell of your body and stretch it out, It would reach over 2 meters in length. 2 meters of code, folded into a nucleus smaller than a dust mote. How does such a thread fit inside? It folds with grace, like silk ribbons tucked into an invisible pattern. Chromosomes, packages of DNA, are the spools that hold these threads, keeping them neat, yet allowing them to unravel when needed. Each chromosome is a scroll, a chapter of the book that is you. Together, these scrolls contain the whole library of your life, stored safely inside every cell. Pause for a moment and picture this. Every cell in your body carries the same library. A skin cell on your hand, a neuron in your brain, a muscle cell in your heart, all hold the same script. Yet not every cell reads the same passages. The skin cell reads what it needs to protect, to heal, to feel. The heart cell reads the sections that guide rhythm and contraction. The brain cell turns to passages about thought, memory, and connection. The script is whole, but each cell finds the part of the story it needs to live its role. You walk deeper into the nucleus, where the thread spirals and folds. It glows faintly, a luminous ladder coiled in endless loops. The double helix, a structure so iconic, so delicate, yet so strong. 2 strands twisted together, joined by pairs of bases, A with T, C with G. Their bond is not loud or forceful. It is gentle, like hands holding, like dancers turning in perfect symmetry. This symmetry holds the code together, allowing it to survive the passage of time, the challenges of life, the weight of generations. Think of your body not as a single being, but as a city of cells. Each cell, with its thread of DNA, is a citizen, carrying within it the same constitution, the same set of laws, the same potential. And yet, like a city, not every citizen performs the same role. Some are builders, some are protectors, some are messengers. The DNA inside them guides their work, whispering instructions, quietly, precisely, endlessly. Breathe in, breathe out. Feel the quiet marvel of this truth. Within you now, this very second, DNA threads are being read. Enzymes, the gentle readers of the code, glide along the strands, opening them like pages, transcribing them into messages that ripple outward into the cell. These messages build proteins, the bricks and tools of life. Without you ever noticing, without you needing to act, your cells hum along, their threads alive with meaning. Imagine standing in front of one strand now. It stretches before you like a glowing rope, a ladder made of light. Each rung is a pair of bases, linked delicately. The thread coils and twists, folding around invisible spools of protein, condensing into shapes you could almost hold. You touch it gently, and it hums like a string of an instrument, vibrating with possibility. It is fragile and strong at once, breakable yet resilient, like spider silk strung between branches in the wind. And yet, within this fragility lies continuity. The thread you see is not new. It is ancient, passed through unbroken chains of life. Your DNA is not yours alone. It is a tapestry woven from your parents and their parents, stretching back into the mists of time. Each thread you carry is the continuation of countless others. Stretching back to the very first cells on Earth, you are not separate from this history. You are its latest verse. The thought soothes you, like a lullaby sung by ancestors across millennia. In every cell, the thread holds echoes of survival, of adaptation, of love passed quietly through generations. It whispers not only of what you are, but of what has been, and of what may yet be as you drift deeper. The image of the thread becomes softer, dreamlike. You see it not only as a molecule, but as a river flowing endlessly through you. Each base pair is a drop of water, each gene a current shaping the flow. The river divides into tributaries, branching into every cell, nourishing them with the patterns they need. And still, the river is whole, carrying forward the essence of life. You sense how delicate the balance is, and how miraculous. If even a small piece of the thread were missing, the story would change. If the folding faltered, if the bonds weakened, the code could unravel. And yet, most of the time, it does not. It holds, it endures. The thread has survived for billions of years, through the rise and fall of species, through fire and ice, through extinctions and rebirths. It is the quiet constant in a world of change. Let this image settle within you. A thread hidden inside a cell, inside you, inside all life. Not loud, not boastful, but quietly infinite. You are woven of this thread, as is every creature around you. Tonight, as you rest, it continues its work without pause, without need of your attention. You may let go, for the thread holds you. You drift further inward, deeper into the quiet rhythm of your own body. Each breath carries you closer to the heart of the mystery. How 4 tiny letters, A, B, C, and G, create the boundless diversity of life. At first glance, they seem too simple. For symbols, repeating, like for colors on a painter's palette, or for notes played on a string. But as you soften into the thought, you begin to see the truth. In repetition lies infinity. Picture a child's toy box filled with only 4 blocks. Each block has a single letter carved into it, A, T, C, or G alone. Each block means little, but when you begin to place them side by side, patterns appear. Short sequences build small shapes. Longer sequences create sentences, then paragraphs, then books. The more you arrange, the more complexity unfolds. With enough combinations, you could fill libraries that never end. That is what DNA does. 4 letters, rearranged across billions of bases, form the instruction manual for life itself. Every creature, every leaf, every breath of air owes its form to the patterns woven by this 4-letter alphabet. You close your eyes and imagine these letters as stars in a night sky. Only 4 kinds of stars exist, but when scattered in different patterns, they form endless constellations. Some constellations guide ships across oceans. Some inspire stories whispered around fires. Some remain unseen until someone looks up and notices their quiet beauty. DNA is like this sky of letters, infinite in arrangement, holding more meaning than any one person could ever read in a lifetime. Let your thoughts drift to music. Imagine a piano with only 4 keys. At first, it seems limiting. Yet with rhythm, with timing, with variations in repetition, whole symphonies could emerge. Short, simple melodies might guide the flutter of an insect's wings. Grand, layered compositions might shape the complexity of the human brain. With only 4 notes, life composes endlessly, each arrangement unique, yet bound by the same alphabet. Breathe slowly. You are beginning to sense the poetry hidden in the science. The 4 bases, adenine, athymine T, cytosine C, guanine G, are like dancers with loyal partners. A always pairs with T, C always pairs with G. Their loyalty is the foundation of the double helix, the spiral of life. Yet when arranged in long sequences, their pairing creates endless possibilities. It is as if the dance floor is infinite, and the dancers, though bound to their partners, can form patterns that stretch across eternity. Imagine walking through a meadow. The wildflowers bloom in colors that seem spontaneous and free, but beneath their beauty, the same four letters are at work, telling each petal when to open, what hue to show, how tall the stem should rise. The butterfly that lands upon the flower is guided by the same letters. The bird that swoops overhead, the tree that sways nearby, even you standing in the meadow, all are written in this alphabet. For letters, infinite forms. Think of language itself. The English alphabet holds 26 letters. From it, entire libraries have been written, poems and histories, songs and laws. Yet DNA requires only 4. And still, it has written a story far greater. The story of life across billions of years. A story with no single author, yet countless voices. A story that is not finished, for even tonight, as you rest. It continues to be written, cell by cell, breath by breath. You may wonder, how can something so small, so simple, give rise to the complexity of a mind, of consciousness, of love? The answer lies in repetition, in pattern, in time. Just as waves carve coastlines and winds shape dunes, the steady work of 4 letters shapes the architecture of life. There is no rush, no urgency. The alphabet of DNA is patient, weaving forms with quiet precision across the expanse of generations. You imagine yourself holding a single strand of DNA. Its bases are arranged like beads on a string. One section instructs the growth of hair. Another influences how your immune system responds to illness. Another shapes the rhythm of your heartbeat. Each sequence is like a sentence in a story, meaningful on its own, but part of a greater whole. Together, they compose the book of you, a book written not once, but copied into every cell of your body. In the stillness of your mind, you see DNA not only as code, but as a story that connects you to others. The same 4 letters shaped the first single-celled organisms that floated in primordial seas. They guided the rise of plants, the spread of animals, the dawn of human beings. To read this alphabet is to realize you are kin not only to your family, but to all of life. The difference between you and a tree is not a separate alphabet, but a different arrangement of the same 4 letters. Let this thought soothe you. You are not alone in your story. Every creature around you is written in the same language. Your body hums with it, as does the body of a whale gliding through deep oceans, or the wings of a dragonfly catching sunlight. The alphabet is the thread that ties all life together. To listen to it is to hear the quiet chorus of the earth. You may feel small, but you are vast. Within you are billions of sequences, each a line of possibility. Some sequences are ancient, preserved across countless lifetimes because they work so well. Others are new, arising from tiny changes, mutations that may one day shape the course of life. In this way, your DNA is not only a record of the past, but a sketch of the future. As your breathing steadies, you feel the rhythm of repetition, the comfort of cycles. A, T, C, G, again and again. The pattern becomes like waves against a shore, like a mantra repeated in meditation. It is simple, yet infinite. It does not demand your attention. It simply is, and in its being, it sustains all that you are. Drift deeper now. Picture the 4 letters as glowing lanterns floating in a dark river. Their colors shift softly. Blue for A, gold for T, green for C, silver for G. As they drift, they cluster, forming words, then sentences, then stories that ripple through the water. The river is time, and the lanterns never cease their flow. You watch them drift past, and you realize they carry not only your story, but the stories of all who came before, and all who will come after. There is a comfort in knowing that life's alphabet is small, yet endlessly rich. It teaches you that simplicity can hold infinity, that repetition, when given patience, creates beauty, that 4 letters can shape the entire chorus of existence. You close your eyes again, letting the rhythm of your breath guide you deeper. In the darkness behind your eyelids, the 4 letters you met before begin to shift. They do not float apart as random symbols. Instead, they find their partners. A reaches for T, C reaches for G. Their joining is gentle but unbreakable. And when they meet, something beautiful begins to take shape, a spiral, rising and falling, turning endlessly in quiet balance. This is the double helix, the great dance of life. Picture 2 ribbons, delicate and shimmering, winding around each other. Each ribbon alone would drift apart, but together they create strength. Like 2 hands clasped, like 2 strands woven into a braid. The double helix is this braid, the architecture that holds the code of life. It is not rigid, but graceful, flowing like music caught in motion. Let your thoughts drift into this spiral. It is both simple and profound. 2 strands, linked by pairs of bases, turning again and again in symmetry. Imagine climbing a spiral staircase, each step a base pair, each turn lifting you higher into the story of life. A with T, C with G, over and over. The pattern repeats, not dull but mesmerizing, like footsteps in a dance that never ends. You see the helix stretching infinitely in both directions, glowing faintly in indigo light. Its curves are soft, its balance precise. It is elegant not by accident, but by necessity. The spiral shape is what allows DNA to store immense amounts of information, packed into the smallest of spaces, yet always ready to be opened and read. The helix is not just a symbol of life, it is its rhythm, its movement, its dance. Imagine watching this dance from above, as if the helix were a galaxy of its own, spiraling into the distance. The bases hold together with hydrogen bonds, subtle yet sufficient, like invisible threads of trust between partners. Not too strong to prevent the helix from opening, not too weak to let it fall apart. It is a balance, perfect and patient, evolved through billions of years. Breathe slowly. As you do, imagine the strands parting gently, like dancers stepping aside to let new partners join. This is how DNA is read, how its instructions are copied, how its music flows onward. The spiral is not fixed in silence. It moves, it unwinds, it rewinds, always in harmony with the needs of the cell. Now let the spiral expand in your mind's eye. See it not only as a molecule, but as a choreography. The helix turns like a slow waltz, each step deliberate, each movement aligned. The bases pair faithfully, ensuring that when the dance is copied, the steps are remembered. The spiral is not just beauty, it is memory, it is fidelity. It is the reason life continues without faltering. Think of all the spirals you have seen in nature. The curve of a seashell, the swirl of a hurricane, the spiral of galaxies across the night sky. The double helix belongs to this same family of patterns, shapes that repeat across scales, from the microscopic to the cosmic. It is as if the universe favors the spiral, choosing it again and again as a form of grace and endurance. And within you, this spiral moves quietly, shaping the essence of who you are. Pause for a moment and imagine yourself shrinking down, small enough to walk along the edge of the helix. Each base pair is a step beneath your feet, glowing gently as you pass. You walk upward, circling, climbing into infinity. The spiral does not end, for it carries more information than your mind can grasp. But as you walk, you feel its steadiness, its order. It is a staircase built not of stone, but of possibility. The helix does more than store information. It allows life to copy itself. When cells divide, the helix unwinds, each strand serving as a template for a new partner. A with T, C with G. The dance is faithful, repeating itself with remarkable accuracy. And though mistakes sometimes occur, tiny slips in the choreography, those slips become the seeds of change, the source of evolution. Even in its perfection, the helix allows room for creativity, for growth, for the endless variation of life. Let this thought soothe you. The double helix is not a rigid machine, but a graceful, adaptive partner. It opens when needed, it closes when safe. It bends without breaking, coils without tangling, folds into chromosomes without losing its order. It is resilience in motion, a design both fragile and eternal. Now think of your own life as a dance. Each day you follow rhythms, waking, eating, resting, dreaming. Each breath you take, each step you walk, is part of a choreography you may not notice, yet you perform it faithfully. DNA does the same. Its dance is quieter, slower, but no less constant. It is the background music to your existence, playing without pause, guiding every cell in your body. Drift deeper. Imagine the helix as a ribbon of light spiraling in water. Its curves ripple outward, forming echoes in the liquid around it. Those echoes are proteins, born from the instructions of the helix. They fold into shapes, carry messages, build structures. The dance of the double helix leads to other dances, other movements, until the whole body becomes a symphony of motion. There is beauty in knowing that the form of DNA, its spiral, its symmetry, is as important as its letters. Without the helix, the code would tangle and fall apart. With the helix, the code is protected, ordered, and endlessly replicable. Form and function are united in this dance. As inseparable as partners moving across a floor, the helix is also a symbol of continuity. The spiral you imagine now is not only in you, but in every person who has ever lived, and in every being alive today. It is shared across the vast family of life, a pattern repeated in all, yet unique in its arrangements. To see the double helix is to glimpse the unity of existence, the bond that ties you to every living thing. Breathe once more, deeply. Let the spiral fade slowly into the background of your thoughts, leaving only the impression of endless turning, endless pairing, endless dance. You are still within the spiral, the double helix shimmering gently in the darkness of your imagination. But tonight, the spiral begins to shift. It does not remain closed, locked within itself. Instead, it unwinds with patience, like a ribbon unrolling, like a book opening its pages. For the code within DNA is not meant to stay hidden. It is meant to be read. This is the next step in life's poetry, the transformation of letters into action, of code into living form. DNA is the library, but proteins are the builders, the messengers, the guardians. They are the dancers who step into motion when the music of the code begins to play. Imagine a quiet scribe seated before the uncoiling helix. This scribe is RNA polymerase, an enzyme that reads DNA's letters. It glides along the strand, opening the helix just enough to see the bases, copying their sequence into a new form. Messenger RNA, or mRNA. It is as if the vast library of DNA, too precious to be moved, sends out transcripts, short notes written in the same alphabet, small enough to leave the nucleus and carry instructions into the wider cell. Pause and picture this. The nucleus is a great library chamber. DNA is the original manuscript, ancient and irreplaceable. Mr. NAR like copies of certain passages, carefully written and carried out through the library doors. They are not the whole book, only the sections needed at that moment. Some messages will tell the cell how to build collagen for skin, others how to create enzymes to digest sugar, others how to shape hemoglobin for blood. Each message is precise, written in the 4-letter alphabet, carried faithfully outward. Now step with the message into the cytoplasm, the wide ocean of the cell. Waiting here are ribosomes, the tiny machines of translation. Picture them as patient readers, seated at long tables, with mRNA laid out like a scroll before them. The ribosome moves along the scroll, reading 3 letters at a time. These triplets are codons, each one a word in the genetic language. 3 letters, 1 instruction. Some codons call for leucine, others for valine, others for tryptophan. Piece by piece, amino acids are brought in, strung together like beads on a necklace. This is the moment when the abstract becomes tangible. The letters of DNA, passed into mRNA, are now shaping chains of amino acids. These chains fold into proteins, intricate structures that become the workhorses of life. Proteins form your hair and nails, your muscles and skin. They carry oxygen, fight infection, send signals through your nerves. They are the hands of the code, turning thought into form. Let your imagination linger here. Watch the ribosome as it moves like a weaver's shuttle, sliding steadily across the scroll of mRNA. Each codon read, each amino acid added, the chain grows longer. Soon, a protein emerges, not a rigid piece of matter, but a flowing shape, twisting and folding into itself. Like origami folded from paper, a simple strand becomes a 3-dimensional structure, perfectly suited to its role. Some proteins become enzymes, catalysts that speed up reactions with miraculous precision. Others become antibodies, guardians standing watch at the gates of the immune system. Others still become hormones, carrying messages across the vast landscape of your body. Proteins are countless, diverse, and yet every one is written by the same alphabet, translated by the same process. The elegance lies in the pattern, DNA to RNA to protein. The central dogma, scientists call it. But you may think of it as life's poetry, the whisper of letters transforming into the song of action. Breathe slowly. Let yourself imagine proteins at work within you right now. Hemoglobin proteins in your blood cells, carrying oxygen from your lungs to your tissues, releasing it gently where it is needed. Insulin proteins, guiding sugar from your bloodstream into your cells, ensuring balance. Actin and myosin proteins in your muscles, sliding past each other with each heartbeat, with each movement of your chest as you breathe. Countless proteins moving endlessly without pause, without complaint. The beauty of proteins is not only in their work, but in their adaptability. They fold into shapes that fit their purpose precisely. Like keys fitting locks, they recognize molecules, bind to them, change them. The precision is breathtaking. A small change in the sequence of letters can alter the shape of a protein, and in doing so, alter its function entirely. This is both the fragility and the power of the code. Small changes ripple into great effects. Picture for a moment a violinist tuning their instrument. A slight turn of the peg, a subtle adjustment of the string, and the note changes. Sometimes it becomes richer, more beautiful. Sometimes it slips out of harmony. DNA works the same way. Mutations in the letters may create new, wondrous possibilities. The colors of a butterfly's wing, the resistance of a plant to drought. Or they may cause disharmony, leading to illness or weakness. Yet through it all, life continues to play, improvising, adapting, moving forward. Think now of the sheer number of proteins in your body. Scientists estimate there may be tens of thousands of distinct kinds, each with a different role. Some are structural, giving form and support. Others are functional, acting as tools and machines. Together, they create the machinery of life, a vast orchestra, each instrument playing its part in harmony, and all of it. Every note, every sound, every movement begins with 4 letters. The letters give rise to codons, codons to amino acids, amino acids to proteins. From simplicity, complexity. From code, creation. From stillness, motion. Let this soothe you as you breathe deeper. Your body is not a mystery to itself. It knows what to do. The code is read, the message is written, the proteins built. Even as you lie here, drifting towards sleep, this machinery hums within you, steady and tireless. You do not need to command it. You do not need to oversee it. It has been working since before you were born, since before your parents, since before the first humans walked the earth. It is life's ancient machinery, always at work, always unfolding. You may imagine now that your body is a great cathedral, built not of stone but of proteins, columns of collagen, windows of keratin, arches of actin and myosin. And within this cathedral, the choir never stops singing. Proteins rise like voices, each singing its part, their harmony guided by the letters of DNA. You are both the cathedral and the music within it. Sleep draws closer now. The thought of your body's quiet machinery becomes a lullaby. You are not burdened by its details. You are comforted by its constancy. The code writes, the ribosomes weave, the proteins fold, and life continues. You return to the spiral, to the dance of the double helix. Its turns are graceful, its symmetry enduring. But tonight, as you watch, you notice something different. A single pair of letters does not match. Where A should meet T, or C should meet G, there is a shift. A small slip, a quiet error. At first, it seems insignificant, just one change in billions. But here, in the quiet architecture of DNA, even the smallest alteration can ripple outward. This is a mutation, a change in the script of life. Breathe slowly. The word mistake may sound sharp, but within life's code, mistakes are not always harm. Sometimes they cause trouble, sometimes they cause beauty, sometimes they open the door to change itself. Mutation is both fragility and power, danger and possibility. Imagine a scribe copying a manuscript by candlelight. For hours they work, transcribing word after word with care. Yet in the flickering shadows, the scribe slips. A letter is misplaced. A word is altered. The meaning of the passage may change, slightly or completely. DNA works the same way. When cells copy their code, they are faithful, but not perfect. Occasionally, a letter is added, removed, or swapped. a small error in the endless copying of life's text. Some errors mean nothing. The word changes, but the sentence still makes sense. The protein folds as it should. The body continues untroubled. Other times, the change is more profound. The protein cannot fold, cannot function, and illness arises. Sickle cell disease, cystic fibrosis, cancers. These are some of the stories written by mutations that disrupt the harmony of the code, and yet, not all mutations are harm. Many are silent, hidden in the folds of DNA, never affecting the story. Others bring advantage. A mutation may help a plant survive in drought. It may help an animal resist a disease. It may bring new colors to a butterfly's wing, or allow a bird to sing a slightly different song. Mutations are the sparks of evolution, the small changes that, over time, create great diversity. Without them, life would never grow, never adapt, never flourish in new forms. Let your thoughts drift to the ocean billions of years ago. In those early waves, the first strands of DNA and RNA floated fragile and free. Mutations were constant, slips in the primitive copying of the code. Most changes meant nothing, some were harmful, but a few allowed survival. A sequence that folded better, that stored energy more efficiently, that made replication faster. Those small advantages accumulated, and life began to climb from simplicity to complexity. Without mutation, there would be no progress, no flowering of forms, no us. Stop, pause now. Breathe deeply. Feel the paradox of mutation. It is both the cause of suffering and the reason for growth. It is the crack in the wall and the doorway into the future. You are here because of mutations carried across time, changes inherited, shifts in the code that once seemed small but became essential. Imagine walking through a forest. Every tree you see, every bird, every insect carries mutations passed down across generations. The variety of shapes, colors, behaviors, all shaped by countless changes in the code. The red of an apple, the scent of a flower, the camouflage of a moth, each may trace its origin to a single letter altered in DNA long ago. Life is not fixed. It is fluid, adapting through mistakes that become possibilities. Now picture the code itself. You see the helix unwind, its letters glowing softly. At one point, a letter shifts. Perhaps an A is replaced with a G. Perhaps a base pair is skipped. The sequence continues, but now it is different. The ribosome will read it differently. The protein will fold differently. This is the quiet mechanism of change, the smallest nudge with the largest consequences. Not all mutations happen by chance. Sometimes they are invited by the environment. Radiation from the sun, chemicals in the air, even errors during cell division, all can shift the letters. Some of these influences bring harm, others bring novelty. The code is not sealed from the world. It listens, it responds, it shifts. Life is written not in ink, but in clay, malleable, ever-changing. Let yourself drift with this thought. Mutation is not a flaw, but a feature. It is how life experiments, how it tries new forms. Most experiments fail quietly, unnoticed. But some succeed, and in succeeding, they shape the course of history. The ability to digest milk as an adult, the resistance to certain diseases, the diversity of human skin tones. All are gifts of mutation, written into the code, passed down to children, carried into the future. Think now of your own body. Within you, mutations exist. Some inherited, some new, written in your cells. They do not make you broken. They make you unique. No one else has your exact code. No one else carries the same sequence of letters, the same tiny shifts. You are a one-time poem, a singular version of life's script. As sleep edges closer, let the idea comfort you. Perfection is not the goal of life. If DNA were copied flawlessly forever, life would be static, unchanging. It would lack the beauty of variation, the resilience of diversity. Mutation ensures movement. It ensures that life can bend, can adapt, can survive what comes. In this way, even mistakes are part of the design. The code is like a song, played endlessly across generations. Mutations are the improvisations, the small shifts in melody that create new variations. Sometimes the change is dissonant, sometimes it is sweet. But without variation, the song would grow stale. With it, the song devolves, becomes richer, becomes alive. Breathe again, slowly. Let the word mutation soften. It is not a harsh break, but a gentle shift. A mistyped letter, a misheard note, a misstep in the dance. Sometimes these slips create new beauty, new strength. You are not separate from this process. You are its outcome, its continuation. You drift deeper into quiet thought, carried by the image of tiny changes in the code mutations, slips in the script of life. They seemed so small, a single letter altered, a single note in the melody changed. And yet, you begin to sense how time, patient and unhurried, turns these changes into stories far larger than any single life. This is evolution. The slow, steady editing of life's manuscript, carried out across ages. Breathe slowly. Feel the rhythm of your chest rising and falling, like waves washing upon an endless shore. Imagine that each wave is a generation, each tide a passing of time. Within each wave, mutations drift, some sinking unnoticed, some carried forward. The ocean of life edits itself this way, not with a plan, not with haste, but with patience. Picture a vast library where countless copies of the book of life are being made. Each copy holds the same alphabet, the same chapters, but small differences slip in. Some differences weaken the story, and those copies are set aside. Others strengthen it, giving the reader new resilience, new possibility. Over time, the stronger copies multiply until their words become the dominant version of the tale. This is natural selection, the quiet choosing of what endures. Let your imagination wander back in time. See the first single-celled organisms drifting in ancient seas, each carrying its own thread of DNA. They divide, they copy, they pass their code forward. Mutations occur, small and random. One cell becomes slightly better at storing energy, another slightly better at repairing itself. These advantages, though tiny, matter. Over countless generations, they are preserved, becoming the foundation for more complex life. Drift further into this vision. You watch as life begins to diversify. Some organisms grow protective shells, others develop the ability to swim. Plants rise from the water, capturing sunlight. Animals follow, crawling onto land, adapting lungs, limbs, new ways of seeing and hearing. Each step is guided by small changes in DNA, selected by the pressures of survival. Evolution does not rush. It edits patiently, line by line, until new forms emerge. Pause here and breathe. Think of the diversity of life around you now. Forests alive with insects, oceans with whales, skies with birds, earth with people. All of it, every shape and form, comes from the same alphabet, edited slowly over billions of years. The same 4 letters, rearranged endlessly, sculpted by time's patient hand. Consider your own body. Traits you carry, the color of your eyes, the shape of your face, even the way your immune system responds, are the result of countless edits made long before you were born. Some changes came from necessity, resistance to disease, adaptation to climate. Others came by chance, carried forward simply because they did no harm. Together they form you, a unique chapter in evolution's ongoing book. Now imagine evolution as a sculptor, working not with marble but with time itself. The sculptor does not strike suddenly. It chips away slowly, gently, testing shapes, discarding what does not endure. Over millions of years, whole species rise and fall, forms shift, features appear and disappear. The sculptor is not cruel, nor is it kind. It is simply patient, endlessly shaping, endlessly editing. Think of the giraffe's long neck, stretching toward the trees. Once, its ancestors had shorter necks, but in times of scarcity, those with slightly longer necks could reach more leaves, could survive, could pass their traits forward. Over countless generations, the neck grew longer, the species transformed. Not by design, not by sudden change, but by the quiet accumulation of small advantages. Or think of the human eye, with its delicate cornea, its sensitive retina, its ability to perceive color and light. This too did not appear suddenly. It began as simple light-sensitive cells, giving early creatures a sense of brightness and shadow. Slowly, with time, those cells became pits, then lenses, then complex structures. Each step was guided by small mutations, preserved by usefulness. Over millions of years, sight became what it is now, a window to the world, an editor's work perfected through patience. As you breathe, let these images comfort you. Evolution is not hurried. It does not demand immediate results. It teaches the value of patience, the power of small steps, the beauty of gradual change. Your own life, though fleeting compared to evolution's scale, is part of this great process. You carry within you the history of all who came before. Your DNA holds echoes of fish, of reptiles, of mammals, of ancient ancestors who walked long before your name was known. And evolution continues even now. Within every species, mutations arise. Some will fade away, some will be carried forward, shaping the future. The process never stops. It is the gentle editing of time, always at work, always flowing, like the tide of generations against the shore of existence. Imagine for a moment your place in this flow. You are one wave, rising and falling, carrying within you the edits of the past, shaping the possibilities of the future. You are not separate from evolution. You are its living proof, its continuation, its story still unfolding. Drift deeper into thought. Evolution is not only about survival, it is about connection. The same processes that shaped the wing of a bat shaped the arm you lift. The same forces that sculpted the fin of a whale shaped your hand. Bones, muscles, structures, all variations on a theme, edited for different purposes, yet sharing a common origin. This is the beauty of homology, the quiet reminder that all life is related. All life is family. Feel the unity in this truth. The tree of life is vast, but its roots are shared. You are connected to every bird, every flower, every creature, not distantly, not metaphorically, but literally. Through DNA, evolution is the editor that branches the tree, splitting lineages, creating new forms, but always from the same foundation as sleep draws near. Let the thoughts settle gently. Evolution is not a force outside of you. It is within you, around you, written in every living thing. It is patient, enduring, steady. It does not rush, but in its patience, it creates wonders. You close your eyes and drift back into the spiral, the double helix glowing softly in your mind. You have followed its letters, watched its proteins unfold, and seen how time edits its script through mutations and evolution. Tonight, the spiral opens further, revealing not only the story of you, but the story of all life. Breathe slowly. Inhale, exhale. As your body settles into rhythm, imagine a thread of DNA glowing inside you. Now imagine that same thread glowing inside a bird perched outside your window. Inside the tree that bird rests upon. Inside the grass beneath your feet, the butterfly in the air, the cat stretching lazily in the evening sun. The alphabet is the same. The code is shared. You are not separate from them. You are kin. Think of this as a great library written in one alphabet but spoken in countless tongues. Every creature uses the same 4 letters, A, T, C, and G, but arranges them differently, like poets writing in infinite styles. Some poems are short and simple, like the code for a back. Others are long and intricate, like the code for a whale. Yet the alphabet does not change. The unity of life rests in this simplicity. One language, many voices. Pause here and feel the wonder of it. The DNA inside you is 98 to 99% identical to that of a chimpanzee, nearly 90% shared with a mouse, around 60% with a banana. Even the simplest bacteria carry sequences that echo in your own cells. The differences may shape forms and functions, but the foundation is the same. To look at another living being is to glimpse a relative, however distant. Let your imagination wander through a forest. Every tree you see carries DNA, instructing it to grow roots deep into the earth. Branches reaching skyward, leaves unfurling with the seasons. The deer that steps lightly across a clearing carries the same alphabet. The bird that takes flight above it sings with the same letters. And you, standing quietly among them, share that same inheritance. Life is not divided. It is woven. Picture it as a tapestry, threads of DNA weaving together in different patterns. Each species is a unique design, but all are made of the same thread. Some threads are bright, some muted, some thick, some thin. But when you step back, you see the whole cloth shimmering with unity. You are a thread in this vast tapestry, distinct but not alone, bound to every living thing. The unity goes deeper still. Many of the genes in your body do not just resemble those in other creatures. They are nearly identical. The genes that help repair your DNA are found in yeast. The genes that shape your cell cycle are found in fruit flies. The genes that guide early development are found in fish. Evolution has edited, adjusted, reshaped, but it has not rewritten the alphabet. It has kept what works, carrying it forward through time. Breathe softly. Think of the mitochondria within your cells, tiny powerhouses generating the energy you need. These organelles have their own DNA, separate from the nucleus. Long ago, they were independent bacteria that merged with ancient cells, forming a partnership that endures in you today. Every breath you take, every heartbeat, is fueled by this shared inheritance. A reminder that cooperation is as much a part of life's story as competition. Now imagine standing on a shoreline at dusk. The tide rolls in, and with it, the memory of ancient seas. For in those seas, billions of years ago, the first cells formed. They carried the same alphabet you carry now. Every tree, every insect, every person is a descendant of those early cells. The ocean was the cradle, and DNA was the lullaby it whispered. You are part of that lineage, a continuation of a story begun in water long before the first land was touched by life. Pause again and let this truth sink in. You are related to everything, not metaphorically, but literally. The DNA inside you is a variation on the same theme that runs through all living beings. You are family to the bird, to the fish, to the tree, to the flower. You carry echoes of ancient ancestors that split and diverged, but never lost their shared language. Think of the tree of life, not a metaphorical one, but a real map of descent. Its trunk is the first cell, its branches are the lineages that spread through time. You sit on one branch, a human, but nearby are branches holding chimpanzees, gorillas, orangutans. Further back are branches of mammals, birds, reptiles, fish. Still further, branches of plants, fungi, bacteria. All of it connected to the same trunk, the same root, the same origin. And now think of your body again, lying still, drifting towards sleep. Within you are trillions of cells, each carrying DNA. But you are not only you. Your body also houses microbes, bacteria, archaea, tiny organisms that live in partnership with you. They outnumber your own cells, and yet they help you digest food, protect you from illness, balance your system. They too share the same alphabet. You are not a single being, but a community, a symphony of life bound by shared code. Let this thought comfort you. Loneliness softens when you realize you are never truly alone. Every breath you take is shared with trees that release oxygen, with microbes that process the air, with countless beings that inhale and exhale the same atmosphere. Every meal you eat comes from plants and animals written in the same letters. Every connection you feel is grounded in this unity. Now drift deeper. Imagine a luminous thread running through time from the first cell to you. Along this thread, countless beings lived and died, each passing on the alphabet, each adding small variations. Some variations led to wings, some to fins, some to roots, some to minds capable of wonder. And here you are, one more verse in this long poem. The thread continues beyond you, into generations yet unborn, into creatures yet unimagined. The alphabet will endure long after you are gone. Still writing the story of life. Evolution may branch and change, but the shared code ensures unity. Life does not move in isolation. It is one great unfolding, one endless family. You are part of it. You always have been. You always will be. You return again to the library of life, where shelves of glowing DNA stretch endlessly into the distance. The alphabet is familiar now. 4 letters, repeating, pairing, dancing into a spiral that writes the story of existence. Yet tonight you notice something new. The books are not all open. Some are wrapped in ribbons, tied shut, hidden from view. Others are unfolded, their pages spread wide, ready to be read. This is not the work of DNA alone. It is the gentle touch, above the code, epigenetics. Breathe slowly. Epigenetics is not about changing the letters themselves. The alphabet remains. A is still A, T is still T, C is still C, G is still G, but the way the story is read can shift. Some chapters are highlighted, some are bookmarked, some are silenced, never spoken aloud. This is how life shapes which parts of the code awaken, and which rest quietly in the dark. Imagine walking down a hallway lined with doors. Behind each door is a gene, a stretch of DNA that could be read. But not every door is open. Some are locked, others ajar, others wide open with light streaming out. The locks and keys are epigenetic marks, chemical signals that sit above the DNA, guiding which genes are active and which remain silent. One of these marks is methylation, the adding of tiny chemical tags, like sticky notes placed over certain pages in the library. A methyl group sits on the DNA, telling the cell, "Do not read this section right now." Another mechanism is the way DNA wraps around histones, the protein spools that hold it together. If the DNA is wound tightly, the words are hidden, inaccessible. If it is loosened, the page is open, ready to be transcribed. Pause here, breathe, let the metaphor settle. DNA is the script. Epigenetics is the editor, deciding which lines are spoken and which are left unsaid. It does not rewrite the story, but it shapes the performance, giving life its subtlety and variation. Now, imagine your own body as a theater. The DNA is the script, the same in every cell. But in this theater, not every actor reads every line. A skin cell does not perform the role of a neuron. A muscle cell does not speak the lines of the liver. The script is complete in each cell, but epigenetics guides the performance, handing each cell the part it must play. This is how your body, built of trillions of identical scripts, becomes a symphony of diversity. Think of how this plays out across time. In the earliest days of your life, when you were only a cluster of cells, epigenetics guided the great unfolding. One cell became heart, another lung, another brain. The code did not change, only the reading of it did. Epigenetics marked some passages as essential, others as silent, shaping your form with invisible bookmarks. Now consider the environment around you. Food, stress, nurture, toxins, sleep, all leave their mark upon your epigenome. A child raised in warmth and care may carry different epigenetic marks than one raised in fear and scarcity. The letters are the same, but the story is read differently. This is why identical twins, born with the same DNA, can grow different over time. Their experiences press subtle fingerprints onto their epigenome, shaping how their shared script is expressed. Pause again. Feel the depth of this truth. You are not only written by DNA, you are also shaped by life itself, by the world you live in, by the choices you make, by the love or stress you receive. Every breath, every touch, every experience can whisper to the code, opening some doors, closing others. You are not fixed. You are dynamic, a living book always being read in new ways. Let your thoughts drift back through history. Imagine ancestors walking through forests, building fires, raising children. Their lives, their struggles, their environments left marks upon their epigenomes. Some of those marks may still linger in you. Trauma, famine, abundance, resilience. The echoes of their experiences may shape the way your own code is read today. You carry not only the letters of their DNA, but also faint bookmarks of their lives. Breathe deeply. Let this connect you to them, to the continuity of humanity. You are not separate from your lineage. You carry their letters, and perhaps even their whispers above the letters. The love they felt, the hardships they endured, The choices they made all may ripple forward into you, not through myth or memory alone, but through the biology of penises, and yet the story is not unchangeable. The marks above the code are not carved in stone. Many are reversible, shifting with new experiences, new environments, new choices. This is the gentle hope of epigenetics, that even when life writes in ink, it sometimes allows for an eraser, for a new beginning, for healing across generations. Now imagine the code again, the helix spiraling softly in your mind's eye. See the small chemical tags resting upon it, glowing faintly like fireflies. Some fireflies land and dim a gene, silencing it. Others drift away, letting the gene awaken again. The dance of epigenetics is not rigid, but fluid, responding to the world, shaping the body in harmony with life's rhythms. Think of how this works in nature. Bees, born from the same DNA, become either workers or queens, depending on what they are fed. The letters do not change, only the epigenetic marks do. One diet silences some genes, another awakens them, and from this, roles are defined. Or think of plants, shifting their gene expression in response to drought or light, opening and closing passages in their DNA according to the seasons. Epigenetics is life's way of listening, of responding, of adapting. Drift deeper now. Imagine yourself as both the book and the reader. Within you, the story is written, but you do not read every line. Your cells choose, guided by the bookmarks of epigenetics. And above you, life itself acts as the grand editor, shaping which parts of you are called forth, which remain quiet. This does not diminish your autonomy. It deepens your connection to the world. You are not only shaped by the code within, but by the life around you. Breathe softly. Feel the calm of this realization. The code is stable, steady, but the way it is read is flexible, alive. You are not trapped in your script. You are a dynamic story, unfolding in response to life's touch. You drift into stillness, breathing slowly, gently, letting your thoughts sink deeper than before. The spiral of DNA, the bookmarks of epigenetics, the whispers of the shared code, all gather now into a new story, a story that begins with a single cell. A cell so small it cannot be seen with the eye, and yet within it lies the entire script of a human life. From this single spark, a symphony unfolds. Imagine yourself standing in a vast concert hall. The lights are low, the air hushed with anticipation. On the stage, thousands of instruments, weight strings, brass, percussion, woodwinds. But they are silent, still, waiting for the conductor to raise a hand. This is what lies within that first cell, an orchestra of genes, silent until called to play. DNA is the sheet music, epigenetics the cues, and life itself is the conductor, guiding the performance. Breathe in, breathe out. Picture the first note being played. The fertilized egg begins to divide. One cell becomes two, two become four, four become eight. With each division, the symphony begins. At first, the notes are simple, a soft hum of strings tuning in unison. Every cell is the same, carrying the full script of life, but not yet choosing its role. Then, slowly, the conductor's signals change. Some genes are silenced, others awakened. One group of cells begins to play the melody of muscle, another the rhythm of bone, another the harmony of neurons. The orchestra begins to separate, each instrument finding its voice. The symphony of development unfolds, not in haste, but with patient precision. Think of your own beginning. Once, you were only a single cell, carrying within you the entire library of DNA. And now, trillions of cells form the body you inhabit, each reading the script differently, each playing its part. Your heart beats, your lungs breathe, your brain dreams, all because the orchestra followed the cues of the code, performing its ancient music. Picture the process. Cells begin to specialize, to differentiate. Some fold into the layers that will form skin, others into the clusters that will become nerves, others into the tissues that will shape the heart. The sheet music of DNA does not change, but epigenetics directs which passages are played and when. It is as if a grand symphony begins with one melody, then splits into harmonies, counterpoints, rhythms, until the whole resounds with complexity. Pause here, breathe. Let the image of the orchestra surround you. Hear the violins of the neurons, delicate and quick. Hear the deep percussion of the bones, steady and strong. Hear the woodwinds of the lungs, filling the air with gentle breath. Every section has its place, its role, its timing. Together, they create a symphony that is you. Now, let your imagination expand outward. This is not only your story. Every human who has ever lived began this way. Every animal, every bird, every fish, every tree, all began as a single cell, dividing, differentiating, orchestrating. The music of development is universal, played again and again across the tree of life. Think of how precise the symphony must be. If one note is played too early or too late, if one section falters, the harmony shifts. Yet most of the time, the orchestra plays flawlessly, guided by cues so ancient and deep we scarcely comprehend them. The rhythm of cell division, the timing of gene expression, the folding of tissues into organs. It is choreography perfected across billions of years. Imagine yourself watching as the embryo grows. At first a simple cluster of cells. Then layers emerge, folding and shaping. A neural tube forms, destined to become the spinal cord and brain. A tiny heart begins to beat, first irregular, then steady, sending blood through the growing form. Limbs bud, eyes darken, features take shape. By the time you could see it, the music has already composed a body, guided by invisible notes. Pause again. Breathe gently. Let this thought soothe you. Your body is not random, nor is it chaotic. It is music, structured and deliberate, played by an orchestra that began long before your awareness. You did not need to conduct it. It conducted itself. You were carried along in the flow of life's music, cradled in the symphony of development. Now think of how this continues even after birth. The music does not stop. It only changes tempo. Genes are still turned on and off. Cells still specialize. Tissues still grow. A baby learns to breathe, to see, to move. The brain forms trillions of connections, synapses sparking like notes played in quick succession. The symphony swells, becoming richer, fuller, as new instruments join the performance. Even now, as you lie here, your body continues its music. Cells die and are replaced. Skin renews, blood circulates, neurons fire. The orchestra never stops. It only shifts from the rapid crescendos of development to the steadier rhythms of adulthood. Let your thoughts wander deeper. The symphony is not only individual, it is collective. Humanity as a whole is an orchestra too. Each person plays a part, a note in the greater music of species and society. Some voices are loud, others soft, but together they create the harmony of civilization, guided by the same alphabet, the same code, and life itself, across all species, is the grandest symphony of all. Countless organisms, each a melody, weaving together into a composition that has lasted billions of years. The whale's songs in the ocean, the bird's calls in the forest, the hum of insects in the night, the rhythm of your own heart, all part of the same music, all flowing from the same alphabet of life. Breathe once more. Feel the comfort of this truth. You are not separate from the music. You are the music. You are one note among many, part of a harmony that stretches across time. And even when your note fades, the symphony continues, carried forward by others, guided by the same code, the same song. You are resting now, drifting deeper with every breath. In the quiet of your body, the symphony of development has already played much of its music. The notes have grown steady, the rhythms balanced, yet no music lasts unchanged. Over time, even the finest instruments begin to wear, strings loosen, bows fray, and wood takes on cracks of age. So it is with DNA. Within each of your cells, there is a clock, not one that ticks with sound, but one that whispers in the slow fading of letters. This is the genetic clock of aging. Breathe softly. Imagine again the spiraling helix, the elegant ladder of bases paired in perfect symmetry. For years, it has been copied and read, guiding your cells, building your tissues, renewing your body. But each time a cell divides, the helix must be copied. And each time it is copied, a little is lost, a little is shortened, as though the ends of the thread are trimmed. These ends are called telomeres, protective caps at the tips of chromosomes. They are like the plastic tips on shoelaces, keeping the threads from fraying. Yet with each division, the telomeres shorten. Slowly, inevitably, the shoelaces begin to fray. This shortening is not sudden. It is gradual, a quiet erosion. Imagine sand slipping through an hourglass, grain by grain, unhurried, but unstoppable. Each grain is a moment, each shortening a reminder of time's passage. When the telomeres grow too short, the cell can no longer divide safely. It grows old, or it dies, or it enters a quiet retirement called This is one rhythm of aging, written not in years on a calendar, but in letters and ends of DNA. Pause. Breathe. The image of telomeres softens in your mind, and you see them as candle flames. Each cell is a candle, burning gently, providing light. The flame is steady, but with time, the wick grows shorter. Some flames last longer than others, some flicker out sooner, but none are eternal. Aging is this quiet dimming, not cruel, but natural, part of the cycle of life. Yet telomeres are not the only clock. The code itself accumulates wear. With each copy, small errors may slip in. With each year, exposure to sunlight, chemicals, stress, or simply the act of living, small damages occur. DNA repair systems work tirelessly, fixing, correcting, restoring. But even guardians grow weary. Over time, the damage accumulates, like scratches on glass or folds in parchment. The script can still be read, but not always as clearly as before. Think of this process gently, not with fear, but with awe. Your body has endured years of replication, of renewal, of life's demands. The fact that you live decades, that your cells divide millions of times, is itself miraculous. Aging is not a failure of the code, but the natural price of being alive. The unfolding of time written within your cells. Now imagine your body as a vast garden. Each cell is a plant, growing, dividing, flourishing. But over seasons, the soil shifts, the sunlight wanes, the plants tire. Some stop growing, others bend, others shed leaves. The garden does not vanish, but it changes, showing the passage of time in its form. This is your body's story, not static, but dynamic, shaped by the rhythms of aging. Pause again. Breathe deeply. Aging is not only decline, it is also wisdom written into the code. Epigenetic marks, accumulated over a lifetime, tell the story of where you have been. Scientists can read these marks, almost like tree rings, to estimate age. The pattern of methylation changes slowly, forming a clock that tells not only how long you have lived, but perhaps how well. Your experiences, your choices, your environment, all are etched into this epigenetic record. Imagine these marks as gentle strokes of paint across a canvas. When you are young, the canvas is blank, bright, open. As years pass, layers of paint build, colors from joy, shadows from struggle, textures from memory. The picture becomes richer, deeper, more complex. It may not be smooth, but it is beautiful. A portrait of a life lived. Think now of mitochondria, the powerhouses of your cells. They are ancient partners, descendants of bacteria, still carrying their own DNA. They fuel your body with energy, with life. Yet over time, they, too, accumulate damage. Their energy weakens, their flames flicker. This too contributes to aging, a gradual slowing of the great engine within. And yet, within all this, there is resilience. Your body has ways to protect, to repair, to adapt. Telomerase, an enzyme, can extend telomeres, adding time to the clock. DNA repair systems mend broken strands. Antioxidants defend against damage. The garden of your body is not abandoned. It is tended, nurtured, defended as long as it can be. Aging is not simply decline, but balance between damage and repair. Between wearing down and holding on, let your thoughts soften. Think of aging not as a failure, but as a story. The genetic clock ticks, but its ticking marks more than loss. It marks growth, survival, endurance. It marks the love you have given and received, the memories etched into your being, the wisdom gained through time. Each shortened telomere, each epigenetic mark, each mutation is not only biology, it is the record of your life lived fully. Drift deeper. Imagine your DNA as an ancient book, read and reread through the years. Its pages are worn at the edges, some letters faded, some lines smudged, but the book remains intact enough to tell its story. Its age is part of its beauty. A pristine book, untouched by time, tells no tale. A weathered book carries history, depth, meaning. So it is with you. Breathe again. Feel the calm of this truth. You are not separate from the rhythms of aging. You are part of them. They are written into your cells, as natural as sunrise and sunset, as moonlight and tide. To age is to live, and to live is to carry the clock within. You rest in stillness, breathing slowly, as though each breath carries you deeper into the quiet fabric of your own body. You have seen how DNA can fray, how its ends shorten like candle wicks, how its letters wear down across time. But tonight, you see something more. DNA is not left defenseless. Within every cell, there are guardians, silent, tireless, devoted to repair. The code of life carries not only fragility, but resilience. breathe gently. Imagine the double helix glowing softly in your mind. A strand breaks, a small crack in the spiral. But before fear can take hold, repair begins. Enzymes rush forward, not with panic, but with calm precision. They recognize the wound, measure it, mend it. They weave the helix back together, restoring the thread. It is as if tiny artisans live within your cells. Their only purpose to preserve the story of you. Think of base excision repair, one of the simplest guardians. A letter is damaged, unreadable. The enzyme recognizes the flaw and lifts it away, like a scribe erasing a blot of ink. Then another enzyme slips the correct letter in its place, restoring the word. The script continues, seamless. Now think of nucleotide excision repair, the guardian of larger wounds. Sunlight, with its ultraviolet rays, can scar DNA, fusing letters together in ways that confuse the readers. But here, too, the repair system works. A section of the code is cut out, removed, discarded. Then, using the intact strand as a guide, the missing passage is rewritten. The poem of life restores itself, line by line. Pause, breathe deeply. Let this truth settle into you. Your cells are never passive. They are always at work, repairing, defending, healing. Every day your DNA is struck by damage from sunlight, from chemicals, from the act of living itself. Tens of thousands of lesions appear, yet almost all are repaired, silently, without your awareness. Your body is not fragile alone. It is resilient, adaptive, self-healing. Now imagine the more dangerous breaks, double-strand breaks, where both ribbons of the helix are severed. These are among the most perilous wounds, for without both strands, the story could unravel. Yet even here, the guardians rise. Two main pathways exist. One, called non-homologous, end joining, is quick but imperfect, like stitching fabric roughly to prevent it from fraying. The other, homologous recombination, is slower but precise, using a matching sequence as a template to restore what was lost. In either case, the thread is mended, the spiral continues, and the story endures. Picture these processes not as dry mechanisms, but as acts of devotion. The enzymes are caretakers, keepers of the library, binding pages, restoring words, ensuring the script remains legible. They do not tire, they do not complain. They work quietly, unceasingly, so that your cells may continue, so that your body may endure. Breathe again. Think of the resilience this gives you. Without repair, DNA would collapse under the weight of damage, and life could not exist as we know it. But because of repair, you live decades, generations, lifetimes. The code is not flawless, but it is cared for, healed again and again. Now let your thoughts wander into the metaphor of light. Imagine DNA as a stained glass window, illuminated from within. Over time, cracks form, colors fade. But artisans arrive, replacing broken pieces, polishing glass, restoring brilliance. The window remains whole, glowing through the years. Your DNA is this window, and the artisans are your repair systems, keeping the light alive. Drift deeper. Even the act of repair has limits. Not all errors are fixed perfectly. Some slip through, becoming mutations. And yet, without these errors, evolution would halt. The guardians balance precision and imperfection, protection and possibility. They heal enough to preserve life, but not so perfectly as to prevent change. It is a balance that has allowed life to flourish, to diversify, to continue across billions of years. Pause again. Feel how this mirrors your own life. You too carry scars, mistakes, imperfections. Yet you also carry the ability to heal, to repair, to continue. The cracks do not end you. They shape you. The imperfections do not erase your story. They add depth to it. You are not defined only by damage, but by resilience, by the quiet guardianship within you. Think now of how this repair is not only individual, but collective. Across species, DNA repair systems are shared, ancient, conserved through time. A bacterium and a human both carry versions of these guardians, proof that the art of resilience was present from the beginning. To exist at all is to repair, to endure, to heal. You are part of this continuity, this lineage of resilience. Let your thoughts soften further. Imagine the guardians as glowing figures, tiny but countless, moving along your DNA like candle bearers in a dark cathedral. They scan the strands, find breaks, and bring light. They cut and stitch, erase and rewrite, polish and restore. Their work is not dramatic, not visible, but constant. Without them, the cathedral would crumble. With them, it stands, luminous in the night. Breathe again. The resilience of DNA is not only a scientific truth, it is a lesson. Life is fragile, yes, but it is also deeply resilient. Wounds may come, but healing follows. Damage may accumulate, but protection endures. You, too, carry this resilience in your body, in your spirit, in the quiet ways you mend from the trials of living. You breathe slowly, letting your body sink into stillness. The guardians of DNA have shown their resilience, mending the spiral when it frays, protecting the story from being lost. But tonight, your journey shifts from repair to continuity. For life is not only about surviving from moment to moment, it is about carrying the story onward. DNA is not only your script. It is a river flowing through time, carrying your past into your present, and your present into the future. This river is inheritance. Imagine standing on the bank of a great, slow-moving river. Its waters are endless, stretching back into the mist of history, forward into the unknown. In its current flow, the letters of life's code, passing from generation to generation. You are one point along the shore, watching as the water carries stories older than mountains, older than oceans, older than stars. Your own body is built from what this river has delivered, and one day it will flow beyond you, carrying your story into others. Breathe in, breathe out. The image of the river deepens. Each droplet of water is a gene, each current a lineage. Some genes flow steadily through time, unchanged for billions of years. Ancient guardians of processes so vital, they remain constant. Others ripple and split, diverging into new streams, forming new traits, new possibilities. The river is not uniform, but braided, branching, weaving, yet always flowing. Consider this: half of your DNA comes from one parent, half from the other. Each gamete, egg or sperm carries only half the library. When they join, the library is restored, a new edition of the ancient book. The words are familiar, yet arranged uniquely. You are not a copy of your parents, but a new composition written in the same alphabet. Pause. Think of this miracle. Every child is a remix of ancestry, a new verse in an ancient song. The melody is familiar, carrying echoes of those who came before, yet it is never repeated exactly. Each generation writes a new stanza, carried by the same river, shaped by the same current dot. Let your imagination drift further back. Your DNA carries markers from ancestors long gone. Traits that helped them survive, resistance to disease, tolerance for certain foods, adaptations to climates, are written still in your code. You carry their survival within you. Their lives were not forgotten. They are inscribed in the river, passed into you, guiding you even now. But inheritance is more than survival. It is identity. The color of your eyes, the curl of your hair, the cadence of your voice, all emerge from the letters you inherited. Even subtler traits, the way your immune system responds, the rhythm of your heartbeat, the speed of your metabolism, all are woven into the script. You are a living portrait painted by countless ancestors, each brushstroke passed through time. Breathe gently. Inheritance is not flawless. Along the river, mistakes can slip in, mutations carried forward. Some are harmful, others beneficial, most neutral. Over generations, these changes shape new traits, new forms of life. This is how evolution moves, not through sudden leaps, but through the slow drift of the river, carrying tiny variations downstream until the landscape of life itself changes. Now imagine the mitochondria again, those tiny powerhouses within your cells. Their DNA is inherited only from your mother, passed down in an unbroken line from mothers to children for tens of thousands of years. Through your mitochondria, you carry a thread that links you to ancient women who lived before recorded history. The river of inheritance has many channels, and this maternal thread flows like a quiet, golden stream beneath the wider current. Think too of the Y chromosome, passed from father to son, another thread that marks lineage. It carries history too, branching through time, tracing lines of ancestry across continents and centuries. Together, these threads show how the river divides and reunites, shaping the vast network of family that binds all humanity. Pause, breathe again. Inheritance is not only biological, it is also epigenetic. Alongside the letters of DNA, the bookmarks of experience can sometimes be carried forward too. Trauma, famine, abundance. They may leave marks that ripple into children, and sometimes even grandchildren. The river does not carry only the script, but also faint memories of the lives lived along its banks. You are the continuation not only of your ancestors' DNA, but also of their experiences, their survival, their resilience. Drift deeper into this thought. You are not separate from them. You are their river, their legacy, their continuation. Every choice they made, every life they lived, every struggle they endured shaped the flow that brought you here. You are not simply you. You are an unfolding of countless lives. Now turn your thoughts to the future. The river does not stop with you. If you have children, your DNA flows into them. Half of your library carried onward. Even if you do not, your DNA flows in your family, in your relatives, in the shared ancestry of humanity. You are part of the river whether you pass it directly or not. The current flows beyond any one life, carrying the alphabet forward, writing the next stanza of the poem. Imagine again the river under moonlight. The surface glows softly, reflecting the stars. Each ripple is a generation, each sparkle a new life. The water never stops. It moves steadily, patiently, carrying with it all that came before, all that will come after. And you, tonight, here, resting, are one with this flow. Let the thought soothe you. Inheritance means you are never isolated. You are part of a lineage stretching back to the first cells in ancient seas, forward to generations you will never meet. You are connected, bound, carried, woven. You are not a single drop, but part of the river itself. You return again to the quiet spiral of DNA, the endless library of letters that has shaped life for billions of years. You have seen how it repairs itself, how it flows like a river through inheritance, how it carries the stories of ancestors into new generations. But tonight, the story turns outward, toward humanity's quest to read its own script. For while DNA has whispered in silence for eons, only recently have we learned to open the book fully to read the human genome. Page by page, letter by letter. Breathe gently. Imagine yourself holding an ancient manuscript, so vast it could fill entire libraries, so delicate that its pages must be turned with infinite care. This manuscript is your genome. It is not written in words or ink, but in 3 billion pairs of letters, A, T, C, and G. Every one of your cells carries a copy, yet until recently, humanity had no way of reading it. The letters were there, hidden in spirals, waiting. And then, with patience, persistence, and wonder, we began to decipher the book of ourselves. Think back to the late 20th century. Scientists dreamed of sequencing the entire human genome, of reading every letter in its vast script. Many doubted it could be done. The task was immense. 3 billion base pairs stretched across 23 pairs of chromosomes. Yet the dream persisted, like explorers setting out to map an unknown continent. The project began in 1990, and for 13 years, scientists across the world worked together, decoding the alphabet of humanity. Pause. Imagine the effort. Laboratories humming day and night, machines reading fragments of DNA, computers stitching sequences together. Each fragment was like a scrap of parchment torn from a book, incomplete alone, but together forming the whole. It was not quick. It was not simple. But slowly, letter by letter, the book of life was revealed. By 2003, the Human Genome Project announced its completion, a full draft of the human script. Humanity had, for the first time, read its own instruction manual. The feeling was not only scientific, but deeply poetic. We had turned inward, looked into ourselves, and found 3 billion letters spelling out the story of our bodies, our growth, our existence. Breathe deeply. Let the magnitude of that sink in. For billions of years, DNA worked silently, unseen, guiding life without explanation. And now, we had read it, translated its letters, seen the code that makes us what we are. It was as if a mirror had been polished for the first time, showing us not our surface reflection, but our deepest architecture. But what did we see? We saw that humans are astonishingly similar to one another. More than 99.9% of our DNA is the same across all people. The differences that shape our uniqueness, our eye color, our hair texture, our voices, our vulnerabilities, are written in less than 0.1%. And we saw, too, that much of our DNA is shared with other creatures. The genome reminded us not only of our individuality, but of our unity, our kinship with all of life. Imagine leafing through the genome now. Some sections are clear, their instructions known, genes for hemoglobin, for insulin, for collagen. Others remain mysterious, their functions still unfolding. Vast regions are filled with repeats, echoes, fragments of ancient viruses, long, silent, but still carried in our code. It is not a tidy book. It is layered, complex, written through time by countless edits and improvisations. But it is ours. Pause here. Think of how profound it is that you carry this book in every cell. And though you may never consciously read it, your body reads it always, effortlessly, translating letters into proteins, into tissues, into life. The Human Genome Project did not give you something you lacked. It gave you awareness of what was already within you. It gave humanity the ability to see itself, letter by letter, to appreciate the poetry written in its cells. Now, let your thoughts drift to the possibilities. With the genome mapped, scientists could begin to understand diseases at their root. Mutations that cause illness could be identified. Treatments could be tailored to individuals, personalized medicine guided by the letters of one's own code. The genome became not just knowledge, but hope, the hope of healing written in the alphabet of life. Yet the reading of the genome also brought humility. For even with 3 billion letters mapped, much remained unknown. Genes interact in intricate networks, influenced by environment, by epigenetics, by chance. To read the letters is not to fully understand the song, but it is a beginning, a doorway into deeper mysteries. Imagine again the manuscript of DNA. Some pages are translated, others remain undeciphered, waiting. Humanity has opened the book, but it will take lifetimes to fully understand its meaning. And perhaps that is the beauty of it, that the script of life is inexhaustible, offering endless wonder, endless discovery. Breathe softly. Reflect on this truth. You are both the reader and the text. The genome is within you, written into every cell. But now you are also aware of it, conscious of its presence. You are the book reading itself, the story aware of its own letters. This is the quiet poetry of the genome, that life not only exists, but learns to reflect on its own script. Let your imagination wander to the future. Children born today will grow up in a world where their genomes can be sequenced in hours. Medicine will know their risks, their strengths, their susceptibilities. Choices may be shaped by this knowledge, for better or worse. The book will not remain on the shelf. It will become part of how humanity understands itself, how it cares for itself, how it dreams of what is possible. But with knowledge comes responsibility. To hold the book of life is to hold power, the power to heal, but also to alter. The Human Genome Project gave us a mirror, but it also gave us a pen. For with tools like CRISPR, we are not only readers of the script, but editors. The next chapters of this story are yet to be written, and they ask us to move with care, with humility, with wonder. Pause again, breathe. The thought is both exhilarating and gentle, that the book of life is within you, always, and now humanity has begun to read it. To know the genome is to know connection, fragility, possibility. It is to glimpse the unity of all people, all life, in letters that have been carried through time without end. You breathe slowly, feeling the weight of silence settle around you. You have walked with a spiral of DNA, seen its mutations, its repairs, its inheritance, its grand manuscript read by human hands. Tonight, the journey enters a tender and powerful place, a place where humanity no longer only reads the code, but begins to write upon it. This is the story of CRISPR, and the quiet question of what it means to edit the script of life. Breathe deeply. Imagine again the double helix, luminous in indigo light. For billions of years, this code has written itself, guided by mutation, shaped by evolution, edited by time alone. And now, human beings hold a pen, a tool to cut, to change, to rewrite. This pen is not ink, but molecules. It is not wielded with haste, but with precision. Its name is CRISPR-Cas9, a system borrowed from bacteria, adapted into one of the most transformative tools in science. Pause here. Picture the origin. Long before humans discovered it, bacteria lived with viruses pressing against them, invading their cells. To defend themselves, bacteria evolved a memory system storing fragments of viral DNA within their own genome, like a scrapbook of past invaders. When a virus returned, the bacteria used these fragments as guides, matching them to the invader's code and cutting it apart. This was CRISPR, a natural immune system written in DNA itself. Now imagine human scientists observing this system, marveling at its elegance. What if, they wondered, this molecular scissor could be guided not only against viruses, but toward any sequence of DNA? What if we could direct it to a chosen word in the script of life, cut it precisely, and either silence it or replace it? From this thought, the tool emerged, CRISPR-Cas9 as a programmable editor, allowing us to write upon DNA with intention. Breathe again. Picture the CRISPR system at work. First, a guide RNA is crafted, a short piece of code designed to match the target sequence. This RNA leads Cas9, a protein shaped like a pair of molecular scissors, to the precise place in the genome. Cas9 binds, unwinds the double helix, and makes its cut. The cell, sensing the break, begins to repair. In this repair, scientists can insert new letters, delete old ones, or allow the script to rewrite itself differently. Think of the delicacy. The genome has 3 billion letters, yet CRISPR can find a chosen sequence among them, guided only by It is as though you held a library of endless books and were able to find a single sentence by holding up a fragment of its words. Such precision was once unimaginable. Now it is real. Pause. Breathe. The implications unfold like waves. With CRISPR, scientists can silence genes that cause disease, correct mutations that bring illness, even add new traits. In plants, CRISPR has been used to make crops more resilient, more nutritious. In animals, it has been used to study disease, to understand development. In humans, trials have begun to treat disorders once thought incurable: sickle cell disease, certain forms of blindness, cancers. The alphabet of life is no longer untouchable. It can be revised, but editing raises questions as profound as the stars. If we can change the script, should we? What does it mean to alter not only our own DNA, but that of future generations? To change a germline is to write upon the river itself, altering the current for all who follow. It is power immense, and with it, responsibility heavier than mountains. Breathe softly. Let the thoughts settle gently. Editing is not new. Evolution has been editing for eons. But CRISPR is editing with intention, with human choice. It offers healing, but it also offers temptation to go beyond repair, to enhancement, to design. The line between medicine and modification becomes blurred, and the ethics of such choices weigh deeply. Now imagine DNA as a sacred manuscript. For millennia, it has been copied by nature's hand, annotated by time, marked by chance. Now humanity enters as a scribe. One hand trembles with awe, wanting only to heal. The other hand hovers with ambition, tempted to embellish. The manuscript waits, silent, willing to receive what is written. What will the scribe choose? Think of the possibilities. A child born free of genetic disease, because CRISPR corrected the mutation before birth. Fields of grain resistant to drought, feeding the hungry. Mosquitoes edited to no longer carry malaria, sparing millions of lives. These are promises that shine like dawn, but alongside them come shadows, inequalities in access, questions of consent, risks of unintended changes, the temptation to edit not for health, but for preference. Pause here. Breathe deeply. The tool is powerful, but it is not flawless. Off-target cuts can occur, changes in DNA not intended. The genome is vast, its interactions complex, and even small edits may ripple in unexpected ways. CRISPR is precise, but life itself is intricate. To wield this pen requires humility, patience, caution, yet there is beauty in knowing that such a tool exists. It is a testament to life's interconnectedness, that a defense evolved by bacteria could become a medicine for humans, that the alphabet of viruses, once feared, could inspire healing. It shows how unity runs through life at every level, how solutions emerge from unlikely places, how resilience is written not only in us, but in all beings. Drift deeper into this thought. You are the result of DNA passed through time, edited by mutation, repaired by guardians, carried by inheritance. Now, humanity stands at the edge of becoming a conscious editor, shaping the future deliberately. It is as though a story that has always been improvised suddenly receives an author aware of the script. The question is not whether the pen exists. It does. The question is how it will be used. Breathe once more. Let the weight of this truth rest gently. Editing the code is not only a scientific act, it is a moral one, a spiritual one. It asks what kind of future we wish to write, what kind of ancestors we wish to be. It asks us to balance possibility with responsibility, power with care, ambition with humility. Imagine again the spiral glowing before you. CRISPR approaches like a quill of light. It touches the helix gently, cutting, rewriting, stitching. The spiral hums, not in fear, but in resilience. The code continues, altered yet enduring, still carrying the story of life. You watch, knowing that this is only the beginning, that the next chapters of humanity will be shaped by how carefully this pen is held. You breathe slowly, deeply, letting your body sink into quiet. Around you, the story of DNA has unfolded from the whisper of 4 letters, to the spiral of the double helix, to the symphony of proteins, to the resilience of repair, to the river of inheritance, to the great manuscript of the genome, and finally, to the delicate editing of CRISPR tonight. You stand at the edge of time, gazing forward into the unknown. The question is no longer only what the code is, but what it will become. Pause, breathe. The future of the code is not yet written. It lingers like a whisper at the edge of thought, waiting for choices, waiting for care, waiting for wonder. Humanity has always been a reader of life, but now it becomes a writer, a custodian, a dreamer shaping what comes next. Imagine standing at the shore of an ocean at night. The waves are calm, the horizon infinite. The water stretches into darkness, carrying reflections of stars above. This ocean is the future of DNA. Some waves carry healing, others possibility, others mystery. You do not know what shores they will reach, but you know they are already moving. Think of medicine. Already, the genome allows us to understand disease at its root, to design treatments shaped to individual codes. The future may hold therapies where DNA is not only read, but rewritten. Correcting errors before they cause harm, preventing illness before it begins. Imagine a child born free of genetic disease, their code carefully restored, their future brighter. The alphabet of life becomes not only fate, but choice, guided by human care. But beyond healing lies enhancement, and with it, questions. If DNA can be edited, will humanity choose to alter traits not for survival, but for preference? Will height, intelligence, beauty, strength become options to select, like items from a catalogue? Or will we hold to humility, remembering that diversity is strength, that imperfection is beauty, that the river of life flows best when it meanders freely? The future of the code whispers both promises and warnings, and we must listen carefully. Pause, breathe deeply. Beyond medicine, the code may guide agriculture, feeding a growing world. Crops resistant to drought, plants enriched with nutrients, animals bred with care for sustainability. The alphabet may be used not only for survival of individuals, but for survival of the planet. The same code that shapes your cells may shape the resilience of forests, oceans, ecosystems, yet the code is not bound to Earth alone. Imagine humanity traveling to other worlds, carrying DNA as its constant companion. Within each spacecraft, seeds and embryos, microbial allies, the alphabet of life carried like fire across the stars. The code is both fragile and enduring. Fragile in its need for care, enduring in its adaptability. If life spreads beyond Earth, it will be DNA or something evolved from it that carries the story forward. Now let your thoughts drift further still. The future may not hold only natural DNA. Already, scientists speak of synthetic biology, of designing new letters beyond A, T, C, and G with 6 or 8 letters. New proteins could be created, new chemistries explored. Life could expand beyond its current alphabet, opening doors to forms unknown. What would it mean to stand at the threshold of such creation, to be both the inheritor of an ancient code and the author of a new one? Breathe. The idea is both thrilling and humbling, for in shaping the future of DNA, humanity shapes itself, not only in body, but in spirit. The code will reflect our values, our choices, our care for each other, our respect for the diversity of life. The question is not only what can be done, but what should be done, and what must never be undone. Pause again. Imagine DNA as a great book resting upon a pedestal. Behind it stretches history, the evolution of life, the rise of humanity, the discovery of the genome. Before it stretches possibility, healing, design, exploration. The book is open, its pages still being written. You, in this moment, are part of its writing. Every choice, every breath, every generation adds a line, a verse, a chapter. And yet, for all the power of DNA, there remains mystery. The genome is vast, but it does not tell the whole of who we are. Consciousness, love, creativity, spirit, these are not easily reduced to letters. DNA provides the foundation, but the house of being is more than its blueprint. The code whispers, but it does not shout. It guides, but it does not command. It is both essential and incomplete, pointing to truths that lie beyond itself. Drift deeper. Let this bring you comfort. The future of the code will be shaped not only by science, but by wisdom. It will require compassion, humility, reverence for the story already written. For the alphabet of life is not ours to own. It is ours to care for, to tend, to honor. We are stewards, not masters, of the spiral. Breathe slowly. Imagine once more the double helix spinning softly before you. Around it swirl sparks of light, each one a possibility, a future path. Some sparks glow with healing, some with wonder, some with caution. Together they form a constellation, a map of futures yet to be chosen. The helix hums quietly, carrying its ancient music forward. It asks no questions, demands no answers. It simply waits, ready to be read, ready to be guided, ready to whisper across time.